often than not, when pet parents bring their dog or cat to me for a behavior evaluation, they tell me that the behavior came on suddenly. Their dog was always good with their kids, and now their dog is biting their kid. Their cat was always friendly with their partner, and now suddenly is scared to death of their partner. Most of the time, it's been building over time. So why does it feel like your pet's behavior problem has gone from 0 to the red zone in 24 hours? Let's say that your dog is outside and hears fireworks and gets scared. What you see is your dog's tail is tucked, the ears are back, and he pulls you home, right? The next day, you've got to coax him out the door, and you do that, I don't know, 3 or 4 days in a row, and then he seems okay. What really happened there? What you saw on the outside was your dog's ears back and your dog's tail down, right? But on the inside, the house was on fire. Neurochemically, your dog's entire body was primed literally in nanoseconds to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fidget. And all those neurotransmitters and those hormones make memories get seated in the brain in a way that is more powerful than the good stuff that your dog experiences. By the way, this happens to you too. So that memory's in your dog's brain. Even though your dog looks better in a couple of days, he is still having that memory relived as you go through certain areas of your neighborhood or he hears certain sounds. As time goes on and you expose your dog, let's say to the neighborhood, if we're following through on that previous example, what is happening is that those subtle signs of fear that might show up on the walk when he walks by the exact place where he heard the fireworks probably are being missed. Those signs might be really subtle. He might start panting, he might turn his head away, lower his head, maybe tug slightly on the leash. And if you're not paying a lot of attention or you just happen to not know dog body language that well, which most pet parents don't, then you're going to miss those signs, right? And so the behavior progresses. It's slow, it's insidious. That house that was on fire inside his body in the first day, those embers are still burning. And every single time he feels a little fear at that one point in the neighborhood, it stokes those embers and relights that fire, which causes the memories to be laid down in his brain and not forgotten. The next step is the creation of a conditioned emotional response. I want you to listen for a second to this sound and think about what you are hearing. What did you hear? Did you hear a thunderstorm? Did you hear white noise? Did you hear rain? Did you hear a gravel bike on gravel? Because that was the sound that I heard. And these are the feelings that I felt when I heard that sound. I felt full of joy and strength and power. These are images of my husband and I after we rode our bikes at the beginning of a Category 1 hurricane. Not smart, but that's what we do sometimes. You get stuck out there. And that memory and many of the memories that he and I have built together on our gravel bikes make me feel a certain way when I hear that sound. What I have to that sound of a gravel bike on gravel is a conditioned emotional response. So I happen to have a positive conditioned emotional response, and your pet has that too, probably to the shake of a treat bag or the opening of a can of cat food. But animals can also develop a negative conditioned emotional response, and that is where something neutral is paired with something that is scary until the neutral stimulus causes the fear response. Your dog is walking in front of your neighbor's house when he hears the fireworks. He associates your neighbor's house with a scary sound. Even when he sees your neighbor's house and there's no scary sound, the fire inside his body lights up again with fear, and that memory is triggered. That's called a negative conditioned emotional response. The house causes him to be scared even when there's no fireworks. The most common situation we see where dogs develop a negative conditioned emotional response, besides the veterinarian, would be around storms and thunder. What happens is the dog experiences the sound of thunder, which scares him, right? And over time, what he notices is that there's flashes of lightning, there's change in barometric pressure, there's the sound of the rain, there's the dark sky. He pairs it all with the feeling of being scared until those things cause him to feel scared. What's really happening is that your dog has been scared long enough, or the stimulus, the thunderstorm, was scary enough that he has a conditioned emotional response. The best thing that we can do to get ahead of this progression into a negative conditioned emotional response and full-blown behavior problem is to pay attention. Educate yourself on body language, okay? Understand what it looks like to be scared if you're a dog or a cat or a bird or a bunny. The house is on fire when you see the physical signs of fear. Put that fire out. Treat it completely until those embers are cold and are never going to be reignited. That may mean going to your veterinarian. It may mean going to a vet behaviorist. It may mean going to a dog trainer. But what it doesn't mean is holding off until your dog or cat is imploding on a regular basis. It probably feels like your pet's behavior got worse overnight. And in very rare cases, that could be true. The reality is, in 99% of the cases, that just isn't true. There was an inciting event that lit that internal fire, and it just was never completely put out, and it just kept growing and growing until your pet was exploding.